redo the head and face and mounted it on the body. So it has a new head but old body. So that's where that went, in case somebody knows. But a long time, the headless Civil War veteran stood on top of that stone right across the road. So that's where that went. This stone belongs to President William McKinley's grandparents. His grandparents both died on the same day, and that date happens to be one of their wedding anniversaries.
Aww.
So if you're going to go out in the high note. All right? They were both buried originally. They were buried on top of each other in the same home, which was common. When their grandson, President McKinley, became president, and actually when he was a young man going to be president, his dad, William McKinley's father, had them exhumed and put into two separate plots, like normal. So you have a vice president and president grandparents in one cemetery. Now this stone here belongs to the Powell family. Now the Powell name is an old name here in St. Joe County and South Bend. The Powell family, Pharaoh Powell, they were the first African Americans to settle in this county. They were able to settle here at a time when rules and regulations for African Americans coming through here was, we don't want you living here, but we don't mind if you pass through. The Powells were able to pass off because they were very light skinned, and they were able to pass off as white or Caucasian, but they were African American. So this is Pharaoh Powell. They had several sons, that probably 4 or 5 that enlisted in the Civil War, and all of them came home. So got a lucky streak of Civil War survivors in the cemetery going on. All right, so work our way back up this way.
Yeah, he went for that little kid.
He's got to have the muzzle on.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry I had you take it off. I just felt sorry for him, but I understand him.
We've got a lot of people around him. Staff, you don't want nobody around him to defend his thing. So yeah, anytime we're in lodge, we're going to have to keep the muzzle on him.
We'll just have to train him to wear the muzzle and deal with it, dog. And you want to bite, you can wear the muzzle.
He does the same thing.
He didn't break the skin or anything. He just kind of...
Yeah, like I said, he's snapped.
All right, buddy. Eventually he'll get used to it, right?
Yeah.
But, all right, kid.
So I got to send me, like I said, I never use a muzzle on him. I'm always around him by me. I think he's had on for maybe like 15 minutes before today, so he's not used to it. Long enough to do a grocery store once.
You can't bite me. You can try, but you can't, because you can't open your own mouth.
On the other side of this stone, if you can. Stone belongs to the Sample family. Okay, Samuel C. Sample. Another last name with a road attached to it. Mr. Sample was elected to represent Indiana's 9th District in the U.S. House of Representatives from 1843 to 1845. Lived here in South Bend. So, Sample. Now, just down a couple tombstones, there's a very large stone that has the last name of Bugbee. Bugbee. Almond. How would you like that? First name Almond. Bugbee. Sure he didn't get picked on in school. All right? Almond Bugbee. Came here very early. If you want to say immigrant to this area, learned how to tan hides. worked in a tannery, which was not a glorious job. Eventually became a shoemaker and came into town, South Bend here, had a shoemaking shop, which was almost unheard of for a small village like South Bend. Had a lot of businesses up and down the West Race. Just a typical early businessman here in South Bend. Almond
Bugabee.
Bugabee.
Oh, yeah. Some of those do.
How old would you say that mine was?
not as old as him. Put up by probably one of those like DAR type organization. He probably had a really poor monument.
How did the Kinley's grandparents end up over there? Were they from in this area? Or?
They were out like they were kind of really in the wood areas between here and like North Liberty. In that area of town, they had a very small farm, just going west at some point, and meandered all around here.
Waiting for the weather break.
Evidently, they never did, yeah. Now, Lathrop Taylor is so important in South Bend's history that he has two streets named after him, Lathrop and Taylor. Lathrop and Taylor. Now, he was born in New York in 1805. Now, he came to the South Bend area in the early 1830s, along with men like Pierre Navarre and Alexis Coquillard. In fact, Mr. Coquillard and Mr. Taylor are both credited with actually being the town founders. The reason the roads run the way they do and the way they're named, most of them are named, is because of Coquillard and Taylor. When it wasn't even called South Bend at the time, but when this area, which they were temporarily using the name South Old as a city name, when it got a certain population, the government authorized somebody in the town to be the postmaster. Lathrop Taylor was the first postmaster. He had the post office. It was about 30 slots. It was like a cabinet, and he kept it in his front room. So if you got mail, you went to his house every day, knocked on the door. Have I got my Publishers Clearinghouse yet? So, now, Taylor was married, had a son, named him Samuel Hannah Taylor. Samuel Hannah was Lathrop's father-in-law. He had a trading post in Fort Wayne. Lathrop Taylor, his son died when he was about 4, just from, it's not really said, I'm assuming pox, measles, some childhood disease at that age. So Taylor's important, and Coquillard are important. Taylor kept his money, did not dig a trench anyway.
Yeah, this side.
Yeah, he said the city's known about that for some great time. I was won't do anything. He said, shouldn't they put up caution tape? But no, they won't do it until somebody's hurt. Like, right. Somebody has to break their leg before you'll do anything. That's nice.
That's nice.
Hey, Tony Cook, what'd you tell me those markers were? Zinc?
Zinkers.
Zinkies. They're called zinkies.
They're
Zinc.
called zinc. It's a. They call it white bronze, but it's really zinc.
Good. You saw a lot of those stones, markers. If you want to say that, there was a big one back before we got to Kit McKinley's grandparents. They, as you can tell, last a heck of a lot longer than some of these stone ones. So you could buy them through Sears and Roebuck. Catalogs online in the paper. Yeah.
Local monument dealers would carry them too, but they were made by the Monumental Bronze Company of Bridgeport, Connecticut, and then they had about 6 or 7 branches